What up, people? Do you find dating and talking to someone on dates difficult? Is it confusing? Whether you're in these dating streets or you're on the relationship battlefield, conversing with the other person can be just difficult. Sometimes, yeah, because when I'm talking to my girl and I say, hey girl, let's talk, but then she doesn't like what I talk about, and then she just wants to talk. But at least I listen. She gets mad that I'm talking about what I want to talk about, and I'm like, why did I thought we wanted, what am I supposed to do? See, I know it can be difficult. And then some people come on the internet and they just say the most nonchalant things, like it just should be so easy. They say stuff like, ask intelligent questions. What you need are intelligent, imperfect questions. Yeah, I know. It was me who said that. I know. I'm one of those cats who make it seem all simple and easy. But unlike others, I'm going to give you actionable step-by-step instructions as to how to do that. We didn't do that in the other videos. There was not enough time. You don't want to watch a 50-minute video, although we do have some of those on this channel. I know when I said that, some of y'all were just tripping like, what the is that supposed to mean? Intelligent questions? I know, I get it. It's confusing. You don't know what to do, but you did the right thing. You came to class, balance of power. I got you covered with today's lesson. The perfect way to carry on a conversation. Let's get it in. So why is this even important? Especially those of you who've been married for a long time. You already know what it is, though. If you aren't having great conversation, and I mean great as in the person's not bored, you are both bantering back and forth, if you're not learning things about them, if they're not learning things about you, if you're not doing that even in the midst of being married for 20, 30, 45, 50 years, if these things aren't popping like that on a conversation level, you already know what it is, gents. Ladies get bored. Women, we like to converse as well. If we're going to talk to you, we want it to be interesting. Now, gentlemen, this is mostly for you. Ladies, you can listen in as well. But women, you're probably not going to have too much of an issue talking to your man. You all kind of do these things pretty instinctively. In some ways, you do it too much, and it's the reverse problem of you having to learn how to fall back. But for gentlemen, a lot of this for you is going to be learning how to get really deep in there when it comes to talking, because you should already know, if you're not going to have a conversation with your woman, if you're not going to stimulate her brain, if she's going to be bored, someone else is going to excite her, if you know what I'm saying. It's way too easy for women to get bored, and especially with the thing that they need and want, which is, say it with me, conversation. Women love to talk. It's their crack. They need it, they want it, they do it with each other. Point is, this is important. Now, that's important when you're in a relationship, married, whatever, for years and years, but it's also important in the very beginning. So this is a lesson for those cats out there dating. And you should know, either way, whether you're early in the game, you just started, or you're married for years and years and years, this might be the first time you've heard it, but if not, you've watched these videos before, you should already know what this is. I'm going to remind you, though, the rule you should be following in relationships, which is, never stop dating your woman. So whether you're early on in the game where you just started dating this person, or you've been together for 20, 30, 40 years, either way, you need to still have that banter, that spark, that juice, the ooey gooey good stuff that makes her want to be all up on you. If you're not doing it with your words, homie, you slipping. So you already saw in the earlier clip how I said you need to have intelligent questions. That's how you can do this whole sparking her brain kind of a thing. But what does that mean? Well, I'm going to go through it with you right now. Now, basically, there's 6 things you need. It's like a fist and a finger. You need a fist and a finger. F it. Yeah, you need a fist and a finger. That's how you're going to keep your girl happy. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to break down for you the 6 questions of this intelligent talking. And I'm going to mostly go in a particular order. Now, make sure you watch until the end, because towards the end, I'm going to give you the golden question in which you will need this to be able to use it in every single conversation. And then I'm going to give you what the golden responses are. Gold bars of knowledge being dropped on you, so pay attention. So to begin, you need to make sure that you're asking questions that are not just surface level, but at the same time, you're going to start off with surface level. What's a surface level question? A question like, what's your favorite color? Now, it's important that you remember, since the age of like 12, your girl has been asked this surface level question years and years since then. So if she's 24, for 12 years, she's been asked the same surface level question. She's been on dates with guys asking that question, or at the very least, even if she's never been on an official date, she's been in talking stages. She's been in conversation with guys trying to get at her. Even if she's average or below average in looks, sorry ladies, you all think you all that in the bag of chips, so you won't even think I'm talking about you anyway. But the point is, it doesn't matter. Damn near every woman has heard this basic question of, what's your favorite color? Now, we already talked about one thing that is a woman's crack, is her information and getting information. But what is the other thing that they need, gentlemen? That's crack to them. That's just, it's something that's imperative to how their brain works. This is the clue. Chaos. And part of that chaos is just making things different. It needs to be different. It needs to be something that they haven't done before, that's not boring, that's not the same. So in order for her to not get bored with the same damn question she's heard over and over and over again since she was 12 years old, you need to have these intelligent questions. But you can start with this simple question, what's your favorite color? Now, I don't mean that to be literally what you should start with. You can start with any simple surface level question, but I'm just saying, if you don't have swag, if you don't have the gift of gab, if you don't have the ability to talk to women, or you're nervous, or you're weird or worried, or you're just the average dude who doesn't specialize in talking like that, there's nothing wrong with that, gents. So in order to gain the swag and the gift of gab that men who are good with women have, I'm going to show you that you could start off with something basic that you've probably asked every girl you've been on a date with. Like, what's your favorite color? So you're going to start off with that question. What's your favorite color? But what you're going to do is ask the other 6 questions that are the same in every scenario where people are asking questions about anything. I'm going to show you how to grab a shovel and dig deep. Go deep in it with your girl. So you're on a date. You ask the question, what's your favorite color? She's going to answer in this, I don't care, this is stupid, same question people always ask. Okay, great. Then you're going to take the answer from that question and you're going to apply one of the other 6. What, when, where, why, who, and how. Now that seems stupid, seems innocuous, weird, dumb, whatever. It might not seem like a lot to you, gentlemen, but it's a question that people don't normally ask. And it helps you to go deeper, because you got your shovel going deep, now I'm saying, going deeper on something that was surface, but you're trying to find out more about that topic. Now what you're going to be doing in finding out about this topic is you're finding out about her. You set it up like we talked about in that video. You throw a lob, an alley-oop, she grabs it, and dunks it. That's it. You do not have to do much. This is the benefit of you being a man and her being a woman. She wants to be able to talk. She wants to be able to say and all of this about who she is and how she thinks and how her mind is going like this. She wants that facilitated. So be her facilitator. Ask questions about, like, when did that become your favorite color? Like, how old were you? And it doesn't take much on your part. Just go through the list. So when? Now, at this point, she's probably going to tell you either a quick answer like, oh, I was 12, or she's going to say some story that happened when she was younger. She's going to talk about something, oh, when I was 13, my cousin and I were rolling around in the grass and we were fighting, and she was punching me and I was punching her because we fought over a tea party and there was green all over my white dress. But then later I looked and I was like, you know what? This actually looks good with these green splotches. I don't know. I'm just making something up off the top of my head. Point is, now you just learned something about her. Now you just learned she's got a cousin. She was wearing sundresses or dresses and having tea parties. Her cousin is close in age where they can roll around and fight. You know that your girl is a fighter. You just gained so much information from an innocuous, dumb, surface level question that you added the win to. But again, you're not going to stop there. After you ask the question of what's your favorite color, she gave the answer green, you say, when did this happen? She told you the story. Let her talk. Don't stop her in the middle of this. Let her talk, soak it up, and you can ask small questions about that. But if it starts to wind down a little bit, then you can hit her with the other one. So going a little deeper, you can then ask, who was this cousin? You're fighting with her, you guys are friends, do you still hang out? What's the relationship between you and this cousin right now? Again, you're now getting deep. You're having a deeper conversation that all bounced off what's your favorite color. And you're not having to think crazy hard. Now, during this is not going to work, gentlemen, if you're not listening and paying attention. Don't just be waiting for your turn to talk and being like, oh my gosh, he said that I need to think about who, what, when, where, why, how, what, like, don't trip. Just let the conversation flow. And again, you throw up the one question, she's going to dunk it with, hopefully, a long answer. And during this long answer, she gets to do what she wants to do. She wants to talk. Let her cook. Let her do what she's doing. You gave her the ingredients. You threw the ingredients out there. She grabbed it and now she cooking. You want a girl who could cook? Let her cook. So then she answers that question about the cousin and their relationship. And again, you're learning more about her. You're finding out her and her cousin still stay in touch. They're still best friends. And that's the person who, when she gets married, that's going to be her maid of honor. You can find out all kinds of information. And now she's telling you about her family. And again, she's getting deeper in. And the more you stimulate this on a woman, boy, you know this. Now, if you've been married for a long time, it might not lead to any new stories, but it might also lead to new stories. You have no idea. Have you asked every single question about every single situation? And even, like, let's say you're married and you hear this story about the cousin and you're like, whoa, isn't that the cousin who at our wedding, she was your maid of honor, and then you guys were ending up in a fight again? I didn't know your fighting started way back when you were like 13 and y'all was scrapping like that, so y'all been fighting. And then she can be like, yeah, she's always been a pain, blah, 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 blah. You never know what it is. But let's just go back to you're on your first date and these are questions that you're asking. So she answers the question about the cousin and their relationship and what's up with it now. You can then go in, again with your shovel, dig a little deeper and say, where did you grow up? Where there's just grass, where you guys are fighting in the grass, where you were doing tea parties? Did you have a house where there's a backyard with grass, or were you out in the field? Where was this happening? And again, she now breaks down further information about herself, about her childhood, about her life, and you are having a conversation. You are in there like that. You have game now. And it's not even really game. It's just you, again, throwing the lob, setting her up, letting her knock it down, letting her dunk, letting her cook. In essence, you're letting her talk. Yeah, they all like that. All of them. That's right, women, I said all. So, I'm not going to go through every single word and how that can fit in. It's going to be up to you to be creative in how you ask. But the fact is, like I said, number one, you could start off with something real surface level, real simple, like what's your favorite color? Then you're going to go into each of those questions. You don't have to hit all of them, but you already know what they are. Quick reminder: what, when, where, why, who, and how. So that last one leads us into what I said I was going to give you towards the end of this video: the golden question. Now, this golden question, like I said, is something that you should be asking every single time you have a conversation with a woman. Not just your girl, but it could be your daughter, your mama, your cousin, your auntie. Doesn't matter. You ask this question if you talk to your girl every night, 7 days a week, at least once in the conversation, you need to be asking this question. It's going to be golden for you, all right? Springing off the how. How did that make you feel? Gentlemen, there's very little women like more than talking about their feelings, and you should know this.
And you know this, man.
So at any time during the scenario that we ran down, you could have asked that question of, how did that make you feel? Your cousins punch you in the face. How did that make you feel? Your relationship with your cousin is not going as well as you thought it was. Or you guys are best friends still, and she's the one that's going to be your maid of honor. How does that feel to have someone who's been your friend virtually your whole life? How does that make you feel? If you ask that, again, at least one time per conversation, gentlemen, your woman is going to, she's going to love you. I know for you, that might not mean anything in terms of what that question would do for you. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But I'm telling you right now, you lob it up with how does that make you feel? She's going to grab the rock, spin, do a 360 over backhand dunk. She's going to love that. All right? And along with that, I told you I was going to tell you what the golden responses are. The golden responses meaning if you hear her say this, after you say your question, you are golden. You got the golden question, which is going to be like a silver bullet every single time you have a conversation. But when you're doing the regular, how did this go down? And what was that? And who was this? And who, what, when, where, all of that. If you hear these statements, homie. So the golden responses: that's a good question. Or, that's an interesting question. That is a very good response. If she says that's a good question or that's an interesting question, and especially if she has this inquisitive, kind of look on her face, like this is new, man, and that's not even the best one. You know what the best one is? If you get this response, you consider this panties dropping. Again, sounds weird that talking about this kind of stuff is going to get her excited. Yes, it will. Now, obviously, if you're talking about her family and stuff, she's not going to get literally excited during that moment. But what I'm saying is that later, if you do try something, she's going to remember this moment and how you made her feel. And she's going to feel good that you made her think about these things. And so, therefore, you are more likely to be able to get in where you fit in, if you know what I'm saying. But like I was saying, the best response of the golden responses is this: no one has ever asked me that question before. Another variation on that is, I've never thought of it that way. The only thing better than that, gentlemen, is if you get a combination of, that's an interesting question. I've never thought of that before. No one has ever asked me that question. So if you get all that, it's golden. It's golden. Because again, gentlemen, this is key. This is how you truly get women, whether it's dogs, players, F-boys, pimps. All of us have the same thing in common. Men who are good with women all have at least this one thing, which is the gift of gab. If you think you can get with a woman or keep a woman happy or keep a woman interested without having the gift of gab, you're playing yourself. There's only one exception really to a dude not having to have the gift of gab, and that's really if you're a pretty boy. And even if you're a pretty boy, that only lasts for so long. Pretty dudes Girls are going to eventually want you to talk. So if you're a pretty dude who can't talk, she's going to think that you don't have any intelligence. She's not going to respect you. She's going to hit it and quit it and treat you the way that you would treat some ditzy girl who might look good but brings no other substance to the relationship. You're going to hit and quit. So what you got to ask yourself is, do you want to be a pretty boy or a strong man? And unfortunately, gentlemen, God already made that distinction for you. He already said who's going to be a pretty boy and who's not. So most likely that ain't you. And it doesn't even need to be you. Because as long as you learn how to talk to your lady, how to have the gift of gab, you're pretty good. You're pretty golden, which is why I call it golden questions, golden responses. So make sure you're learning these lessons so you can get your swag game up, so you can feel your girl up, so no other dude is up in your territory trying to take your spot. Now that's the end of today's lesson. Now, if you found value in this video, and I know you did, go ahead and click the subscribe button. We are still on our road to 10K. And gentlemen, like I've said many a time, the goal is to get this message out there so men and women can hear what they need to hear and learn what they need to learn. Help me help you by sliding this video to somebody who needs to hear these messages. Now, I know you love these videos, so make sure you come on back and click on another one. Get more learning in. But until next time, no. Deuce, deuce.